The unmistakable face of the next generation Ford Ranger. You can't miss it. You can't miss the shape of those headlights over there, the double stacked headlights, etc. Things like that. It looks big, it looks bold, and it is. But now I haven't driven or tested a single cab in a long time, and especially not in base XLT specification level, which, let me tell you, there's no hardship in it. But you can see you get very more basic wheels, for example, but they're nice and big. They give you a good ride. I'm just looking at what size they are, and I can't find the sizing, but I think they're 18 inches by the looks of it. But they're big, they're comfortable, and we all know the feature of the next generation Ranger has to be how incredibly comfortable the ride is. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter which version, they all are comfortable and smooth on the road. It's quite amazing how smooth they are. But now you may notice there's something very different about this one. Ford have their Pro Converter range, they call it, that they launched a while back. I saw it for the first time at Nampo this year, where instead of you going to an aftermarket place for a load buck, or for a load box, or for a special body, depending on your usage, on your needs, on your requirements, they either do them in factory or they have a list of preferred service providers. And the value in that is the fact that it doesn't affect your warranty. That's the thing. Now, this one you can see is what they call a dropside. So you've got big handles over here, big significant black handles. You can see that you flick over here and look at these hinges. They are big, they are strong, black. I don't know, maybe I'd want to paint mine white. I'm not quite sure. There's also nice steps over here for you to step up if you need to with the load bed closed. So it's got, and at the back as well, another step for you if you need it, if you require it. But you can see over here, I'm going to just try and release the tailgate because I want to show you something that is important. And you notice I am behind the camera myself today. Just occasionally this happens and I do these things on my own. So you drop it down carefully and look at this. Now, this is a major feature of this load buck, is the fact that because it's a custom one, there's no wheel arch intrusions that you'd get on a normal bucky. So it's a completely flat bed. Look at the size of it. I'm trying to work out, I can't do the Allen test for you now, but one thing I did notice is that sides are not that high on this load bed. So it probably would only be 1 Allen height, but let me tell you, it's almost 2 Allen length and about 4 Allen across. So that's plenty Allens you could put on this buck. And of course you could load it higher if you want. I am just being a little bit funny here at the moment. But this is powered by Ford's 2-liter single turbo diesel engine, 125 kilowatts, 410 Newton meters of torque. So it's a lot of torque, which is what you want, obviously. And this one's got a 6-speed manual gearbox, rear wheel drive. It's only a 4x2, does have a diff lock. So let's check it on the road and let's check it inside. Well, on the road now and cruising along on a freeway, trying to sit at more or less the speed limit as well. And really unstressed, unworried, nice and easy. Well, I'm in 6th gear, so there's no issues there. I've mentioned the gear shift, I've mentioned that, but it's not an issue at all because when you're in 6th gear, the torque of this engine, you don't have to downshift that often, that easily for any hills or anything like that. It just can potter its way along. And at 120 in 6th gear, you're just over 2,000 revs, which I think is also a nice, easy, comfortable place to be. It's relatively quiet. I don't think it's bad at all. I'm sure you can pick up road noise if you want to, and engine noise for that matter, but it just goes comfortably. I keep commenting, and I will keep on commenting, how I find the rear suspension and the ride quality of this next generation Ranger so good. I compare it to every other buggy when I drive them, and this is definitely the standard for buggies when it comes to pure ride comfort at the moment. And there's some that are catching up, but I do use this as my standard for ride quality, and I will not apologize for that in any way whatsoever. 7.6 liters per 100 I've been averaging from mainly freeway driving. I think that's pretty impressive, and I don't think anybody will ever complain about that either. So I just think overall, first of all, nice to drive a single cab again for a change. You know, if that's what you need, it's what you need. If you don't need 4x4, you don't need 4x4. A diff lock will get you out of a lot of situations, and just a lot of places where maybe the going gets a little bit tougher. Just use a diff lock. If you know what you're doing and you know how to handle it, it'll also do the job for you. So it's features like that. When you're buying a more working vehicle, do you need all those extra features, all those additional weight, cost, fuel consumption, everything else that'll go with buying the 4x4 version if you're never going to actually use it? So that's up to you entirely. Okay, so behind the wheel, let's look at some numbers over here and facts and features. Done 335 kilometers so far, basically freeway driving, just what this test has involved. 7.6 liters per 100. I think that's pretty impressive. And also look at that. There's still 634 kilometers in the tank. So you could possibly, if you're open road driving, hit 1,000 kilometers on a tank. I think that's pretty impressive. You take a look over here, you've got your multifunction steering wheel, you've got cruise control. Now that's an important feature as well if you're going to hit the open road. So you've got all of those features over there. And down in the corner, you can't really see it, but you've got your headlights, and it has auto headlights as well. Another feature I do like. You come across to, look here, maybe base XLT, but it still has the big tablet screen that is, of course, is typical of the new generation Ranger. Something that I must admit, Ford, I know it's a base spec, but I really would have liked a reverse camera on a vehicle this big, this long, this bulky. I just think that would be a nice extra feature, and I would certainly want it myself. I'm sure you could fit one aftermarket. You come down, there's USB A and C, and over here, very important, I would never press that button. You know what it is, the DSC, but that's important. It may be a 4x2, but you do get a diff lock. 6-speed manual gearbox I mentioned to you now. Now it's a meaty gearbox. What do I mean by meaty? Well, the clutch is light enough, but I must say, considering the fact that you get so few manual cars of any sort these days, and because they're generally smaller cars and the gear shift is so light and easy, this one is a little bit heavier. It's chunkier. There's nothing wrong with it. You know exactly what gear you're going into and things like that, but you do feel it. Can I just put it that way? But it's really, this is a bakkie. So what am I talking about? Good old manual handbrake over there, and cloth interior, nice hard working, hard wearing. I don't see any issues, and just good space. It feels solid everywhere, but you expect that from your single cab working bakkie. Well, now, of course, you're going to ask me. I said earlier on in the video that the whole idea of this Pro Converter series is the fact you still get your warranty. Still intact with Ford. You're looking at just about 500,000 Rand. I think at 514 was the price I saw for an XLT manual single cab. You have to talk to your Ford dealer for whatever specific buck you're looking for, whatever specific load box. Those obviously are going to vary, so I'm not even going to mention prices on those. But interesting, different, and it just shows where Ford are thinking and where they're going, and making sure you looked after longer term with your warranties, etc. So, as you know, for MotorMatters, I'm Alan R, and I'll see you next time.